Hello everyone, I'm Sonia from CNN, and we're here to talk about international trade. International trade is exploding and occurring more often every single day. Since the early 1990s, nations around the world have increased imports and exports. There are three major reasons for the increase in globalization. First is the decline in shipping costs. Second is the reduction in trade barriers. And three is due to an increase in specialization in world economies. International trade helps the economy because the United States trades with other countries that specialize in making certain products. In turn, the United States can specialize in producing certain goods and services that would be beneficial for the other countries. Although there are many benefits to international trade, there are also trade barriers. Two of the most common include tariffs and quotas. Tariffs are taxes placed on foreign goods and services. The distributor of goods pays tariffs when it arrives in the foreign country. On the other hand, governments may place an import quota, which is the limit on the quantity that can be imported into a country. In 2011, the United States imported goods and services from 238 nations. These countries include China, Taiwan, India, Canada, and we have seen a huge increase in trade with Mexico. Today, we are here to talk about the case of Mexico. I'm here with Jose Guerrero, a worker from Scenic Electronics who has been working for low wages and asking for more. Okay, hi, Mr. Guerrero.
Hello.
So tell me about your job, Mr. Guerrero.
I work for Zenith Electronics. I make about $7.50 a day, depending on my hours. I have a union that is given to me when I was brought into the company, and I have worked for the same wages for the last 7 years.
How are the working conditions that you're exposed to?
They're not safe compared to many factories in the United States. There are supposed to be regulations, but no one ever comes to regulate, and I've seen many of my employees injured.
How many hours do you work for?
I work 8 to 10 hours a day.
Do you think that you're being properly paid for your job?
No, I definitely do not think I'm working for enough money.
How is your economic conditions affecting your family?
When I go home to a shack with a dirt floor, no indoor plumbing, and we have to bootleg water.
One last question. Do you think that these factories are beneficial to Mexico?
They give millions of Mexicans jobs. And while this is true, with no benefits and not when working for the same wages, we will never get out of this poverty.
Well, thank you, Mr. Guerrero, for your answers. And we have here the CEO of Walmart, Mike Duke. What are your thoughts on NAFTA?
Well, NAFTA stands for the North American Free Trade Agreement. It's a trade agreement between Canada, the United States, and Mexico. Since the establishment of NAFTA in 1994, there have been many changes actually. First of all, tariffs have pretty much been eliminated for most products, and all platforms have been expanded, and there's less government control. Another thing is that we increased protection on intellectual property rights, meaning Mexican companies cannot copy our products and make a cheaper version of it. So actually, trade between all of North America has substantially increased since NAFTA in 1994. And I believe that these trade agreements are very fair and they're necessary and definitely work in our favor.
How many jobs does the maquiladoras produce in Mexico?
Maquiladora factories, they produce close to 2 million jobs and over 3,000 factories.
How do you feel knowing Mexican workers earn less than $8 a day?
Well, in economics, we have the supply and demand model. So, if supply is high, demand will be low. Therefore, prices will be low. This is exactly what is happening with these maquiladora workers. There are so many unskilled workers in Mexico praying for jobs, and the supply is so high that they will just get any job possible. And honestly, in my opinion, they should be grateful for the job rather than complaining about their $8 per day wage.
So why don't the jobs stay in the United States? Why Mexico?
Jobs just aren't staying in the United States simply because it's not worth it. It's not worth it for us, the supplier, nor is it worth it for the average American, because prices will be way too high, our profit margins will be way too low, and we just cannot function the same way. We cannot operate the same way.
Factory owner, his name is Landon Prof. Hello, how are you? So So what are your thoughts on NAFTA after hearing his thoughts?
Well, it's opened a door for the open trade. It's brought a halt to tariffs. There's equality among Canada, the United States, and Mexico, and it brings a balance in trade, increases investments with stockholders, and it's brought growth to the population.
What kind of products do your company produce?
We produce radios, hand-wired chassis, televisions, remote controls.
How will you describe the working conditions in your factories? Because according to Mr. Guerrero, there has been a lot of injuries going on.
Well, it's an environment where we can put the quality into our work. It's quality goes in before the name goes on.
How do you benefit the Mexican economy? How do you think you benefit the Mexican economy?
We provide jobs for hundreds of people to put money in their pockets, to put food on their tables. We also bring we bring new faces into the regions and boom population.
Can you go more in depth between the trade deficit between the United States and Mexico?
$61,321 as recorded in 2012.
Do you predict an increase in production for companies in the United States in the near future?
Yeah, we see about 5,000 new faces that come into the region every month.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, more people, more jobs. That means we can have more spots to hire people, and also we'll be able to produce more product.
Well, thank you, Lyndon, for your thoughts, and thank you, my So, this is